My name's Nick. I started Nick's Electronics Repair about a decade ago, and since then we've fixed over 26,000 devices. While this controller board might look like it's working properly, when we take a closer look, in fact, we'll notice green corrosion on this capacitor leg here, which has spread to this jumper wire over here. If left as is, we've seen these capacitors leak electrolytic fluid and damage the board in several ways, including catching fire. But wait, there's more. After about 20 to 25 years of use, we've also seen a lot of the solder joints begin to fail and need to be reinforced. If we switch to our microscope view, we can more clearly see some of these joints, and you will notice a ring right over here forming around this pin. Now, if we really zoom in, we can see some separation between the pin and the joints. Once that type of separation occurs on 100% of the joint, we can get an F3 error code and the controller board will start beeping. For this repair today, let's start with replacing the capacitors. Now, for this first capacitor, the one that's actively leaking the electrolytic fluid, we can see here it says 50 volts, 100 microfarad as the rating. The one next to it says 16 volts, 470 microfarads. And this one over here says 16 volt, also 470 microfarads. So we're going to start by desoldering the legs from the back. Are the pins loose? Yes, they are. So now I should be able to pull this capacitor out. Before we replace it, I do want to try and clean the area and remove any existing corrosion off of both the jumper and the original area where the capacitor was. All right, that looks a lot better. We'll go ahead and feed our replacement through. We'll go ahead and cut the excess from the legs. I did, of course, bend the pins so that the capacitor stays in the board, doesn't fall through. We'll give that a final clean. And good as new. Let's move on to the next capacitor. We'll do the same process. Gonna try and sneak the desolder braid underneath the leg. Are both loose. This one is as well. There we go. Let's go ahead and do the next one right away. All right, same thing. Capacitor legs look loose, and here we are. We'll do a quick pre-clean while the component is out of. Now I know the orientation because I also do have a black line, which would indicate my negative. So that's how I can identify the polarity. Same thing, we'll bend the pins out, cut off the excess. And before we move on to our reflowing of cracked solder joints, I want to double check some of our capacitors using our ESR meter here. And this one's reading 465 microfarads. It is rated for 470, so that's close enough. And 0.58 ohms for the ESR. That's actually okay. This capacitor is good and didn't technically need to be replaced, although it's not a bad idea to get ahead of it before it starts going bad. The second one here is reading 459 with 0.45 ohms. Same thing, that one is okay. Didn't technically need to be replaced, but again, always a better idea to preemptively replace it before it goes bad. And this one just isn't even reading open circuit or low capacitance. So this one is so bad that it can't even get detected. And that, of course, was our leaky one. All right, now we can go ahead and start doing our reflows. So this one was the cracked pin we really zoomed in on. And I'm just adding some fresh new solder. This new solder also does have flux embedded in it. So that'll help us get a good flow. And we're just gonna go down the line, reflow every joint, add a little bit of extra fresh solder. And we'll go ahead and re-inspect these joints under the microscope right after to make sure everything looks good. All right, this is our final product. That looks a heck of a lot better than the original joints. There are no more cracked solder joints. That is a solid looking joint. Next, I'd like to inspect some of our spade pins here because those have a lot of power going through them and thus are more likely to get cracked joints as well. And as you can see here, we are actually starting to see a little bit of separation here and a ring forming around the joints. Same over here. It's subtle, but it is there. So we are going to want to touch those joints up as well. For this part, we're going to stick with the microscope view. And you'll notice I'm hanging out on the joints for a couple seconds, really making sure that we get good flow and heat transfer from the iron into the joint itself, and of course into the leg of the component, or the connector in this case. And I'm noticing I'm not getting the best flow possible, so on this one I'm just going to add a little bit of flux, and that should help with getting really good flow. There we go, that looks a lot better. That one also didn't flow quite as neatly as I would have liked, so we'll add flux as well. There we go, that's better. These are the last two. And finally, these square blocks are our relays. There are 4 of them on the board, and they typically all tend to fail with cracked joints as well, so we will also touch those up. I feel like I had good flow, but my solder did not form that perfect cone. So we're gonna go ahead and add just a little flux and touch those up. Now again, there is already flux inside of the solder that we use. So that's why I'm not adding new solder to every joint. Not all of them need additional extra solder or extra flux. Yeah, you can see the flux oozing out over here on the bottom. Okay, and this is our last relay. We'll give it all a quick clean. And this concludes the full refurbishment of our oven controller board. If you're interested in sending in your controller board for us to fix, we offer flat rate services which come with a 1-year warranty, and those are available on our website, which I will link in the video description down below. Otherwise, if you found the video helpful or useful, leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.